Hello again from Relation Productions. Today I've got a little bit of deviation from the norm of my CNC project or the usual RC related projects you see, and hopefully it's of equal interest to you. I have a old American Machine Tool Company table saw which I have come into possession of, being handed down from my great grandfather to my father, then to myself. When I got this saw, the motor was burned out on it, and on the saw arbor side of the drive on it, the pulley was severely worn out. It was rattling around on there basically. It was no good at all. And for the entire life that I've known this saw to be operating, I think it's always had that problem. So, basically today I'm going to show you a little walk around the machine. It's kind of a neat old saw, mostly cast iron construction. Best I can tell, this saw, based on it's either Popular Science or Popular Mechanics ads, dates from around 1948. Given the history, the known age of the saw, I think that's probably a good, pretty accurate estimate how old this machine is. Anyhow, I'll start out with the motor first because that's what I replaced on it. Initially, this thing usually, what I've known, it's had half horsepower motors on there, and something just related, it's drip proof or drip resistant, basically open end bell motors. And I found on eBay as new old stock a nice 3/4 horse Reliance motor. Now, technically, from what I've seen, this saw is rated for 1/3 to 1/2 horsepower motors, so this might be a little bit too much for it. I suppose as long as I'm careful not to really utilize the full potential of the motor's power, I don't think I'll have troubles with this. Mostly small stuff I do anyways on a regular basis. Anyhow, yeah, so that's been replaced there. Very nice motor that I've got on there. And also been replaced are both the pulleys going from the motor and to the saw. And as you can kind of see, I will get up some better pictures in a moment of when the blade was actually off the saw for this fix, this tune-up here. I have a new cast iron pulley which replaces the zinc one. I believe it was a zinc, maybe aluminum cast pulley that was on this initially. Very worn out from being so old. I don't know if it was original. It might be original. As worn as it was, it might have been. But anyhow, initially this had a 1 3/4 inch pulley on the saw side going to about a 4-inch pulley on the motor side. And the motor was running about 1700 RPM, so it was speeding it up to about 3400 RPM at the saw blade. So now this new motor I have on here, this is actually a higher RPM motor running at 3400 RPM. And instead of a speed up reduction, I have a 1-to-1 reduction, running two nice cast iron pulleys, 2-inch pulleys on there for replacement. And so I have that fixed up real nice. Also, what you might see in the pictures that I'll post up here, where you can sort of see that little white shim, I have a Teflon little thin shim in there basically to provide a little extra dust protection for the bearings inside. Also, the best I can tell, these are the original ball bearings on here. They're US made nice brand bearings, and they, like they say, seem to run pretty nice still. They don't seem gritty, they're not making a lot of noise, and I don't think they need replacement, so I'm going to leave them on there. And I've add a little extra Teflon seal at least to the one side to hopefully extend the life of these things as long as possible. But as you can see, most of the saw, about 99.9%, is cast iron construction. Now what was actually bought was right up to the middle of the base there. I believe my great-grandfather, he made this lower section here consisting of some angle irons and mostly wood construction. There you've got some storage inside the cabinet there. Very heavy, well-built saw though. Pretty much everything is cast iron or steel on this thing. Only a few exceptions I can see offhand: the side aluminum guard for the saw itself, and actually the two right angle gears that raise and lower the saw. And this thing has a tilt function on it too. I can take that and that'll go up to 45 degrees. Pretty nice saw there. That was kind of a deluxe feature, so they seem to claim at the time, that the blade tilts instead of the table. I'll raise her up here for you. Got this crank here, and that comes up. I've also got a new blade on this. Before I was running kind of a large, it was a 60 tooth blade for non-ferrous metals. I was cutting a little bit of aluminum with it, which seemed to work okay. But it was kind of a heavy blade too for doing wood, so I have a more appropriate finishing blade on here. It's a 40 tooth 7 1/4 inch opposed to 8 inch, which this saw will accept too. You can see its secondary names down here. It's an American machine tool, but also these are known as Marcus Polak, I don't know. But still got its original tag on there. I probably would repaint the entire machine, except the paint is actually in decent condition. Underneath there you can't really see, but there is probably the majority of the rust underneath the table, although the majority of the paint still exists under there too. Anyhow, let's give it a spin. Runs much quieter than it used to. Used to rattle quite a bit with that loose pulley on it. Real nice smooth operation from this continuous duty motor. It's not the greatest saw in the world, but it's got some of the basic features on it. You got your guides on there, and everything else are basic cutting needs. It actually does have provisions. At one point, as you can see by the brown paint on it, had quite an extensive wooden, what's the term, skirt extra table extensions on here. But it is already drilled and tapped, as I believe is original from the factory. For an extension, I might find something a little smaller, more dignified to stick on it. As you can see, the table itself has been kept up very well over the years. There's not really any rust or pitting that's ever occurred on this. You can see the original fly cut even. It's been kept up very, very well considering its age. It's been kept in a very damp basement. But anyhow, that's my table saw there. And if you have any comments or questions, if you like watching this sort of thing, if you have any ideas for upcoming videos of stuff you'd like to see, I'm just kind of going here and there and showing off things that interest me. So let me know what you think. And as always, thank you for watching. Till next time.